Hey there, I'm Alec. So a little over a month ago, I had one of those moments where the memory of a movie I once watched a long time ago flashed before my very eyes. That's probably happened to you when something is just on the brink of your mind and you're just like, oh, what is it? I can think of like one or two words from this song, but I can't think of the whole entire thing. So for me, I remembered like one scene from this movie and just a couple of small details that I wasn't even sure if they were actually correct. Like imagine you're trying to remember Avengers Endgame and the only scene you can remember is that a raccoon slaps a guy who's crying. So all I had to go off of was a couple things. The first one was that I remember I watched in like second grade because it was based off of a book that we read in class. I could also remember that it was about a boy who went on a family vacation, and I was pretty sure that there was like an annoying neighbor girl who was like the fucking worst. Like imagine a little Karen to be, like she's just like, can I speak to the manager? I also vividly remember one specific scene, and it was about the boy. He was riding his bike super fast, and then all of a sudden he swallows a fly. I probably remember that specific scene because that type of shit would traumatize you as a kid. Just like, oh my god, that could happen to me. So obviously, not a lot to go off of. So I got to Googling as best as I could. I tried Googling like book where boy goes on vacation with annoying neighbor. Nothing. I even started contemplating if I should contact my second grade teacher themselves and ask them if maybe they remember. I was desperate, you guys. I needed to know what this fucking movie was. However, there is a happy ending to this tale. I finally searched for something along the lines of book where a boy swallows a fly while riding a bike. And then I saw it. Fudge-a-Mania. Beautiful, isn't it? Fudge-a-Mania, noun, a child's term for an orgy. Fudge-a-Mania was a TV movie that served as the pilot for the Fudge TV series, based off of the Fudge book series in the Fudge cinematic universe, I'm guessing. Specifically, this movie was based off of the third Fudge book in the Fudge series written by well-known children's author Judy Blume. Yeah, I know. This shit's a fucking book series, a TV show, and it has a movie? Like, what's next? Where's the Netflix anime adaptation? But here's the thing, right? This movie was nowhere online. No torrent site had it. No movie streaming service had it. Dailymotion had a couple episodes of the TV show, but not the movie. No rip of it on YouTube, but apparently the commercials that played during the break when it first aired are. I couldn't even download it off of one of those sketchy back alley websites that have like porn ads staring you in the face. I hate those websites, man. It feels like you walk into a strip club, but you're only there to eat the food. Like, excuse me, not right now. I'm busy. So you may be asking at this point, well, Alec, that sounds like quite the pickle. I mean, if the internet failed you, then what are you gonna do now? Well, I resorted to my last option. Alright, so this part makes me mad. So, for some reason, even though there was no fucking copy of this movie online, there were 3 people selling a copy of this movie on eBay. Like, come on, you guys, throw the people a fucking bone and find a way to put this thing online. The people are clamoring for it. And by people, I mean me. So long story short, yes, I bought a copy of this movie. And I had it digitized for us. But before we get into the movie, I just want you guys to guess. How much do you think I had to pay for this movie? Now remember, this is just a VHS, aka an outdated form of media of a TV movie that probably only aired a handful of times in 1995. That's it. That's all I was buying. Go ahead and guess. Even put your guesses in a comment. Let's have some fun with it, you know? Alright, drum roll please. The eBay seller was asking for $60 for this thing. You could buy like Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, brand new for that much. Or like food for your family. But no, instead I bought Fudge-a-Mania on VHS. Oh, what a steal. Well, I did actually get them to go down to $45, but like still, it's too much, man. We start the movie with our main character Pete talking about his hometown of New York City.
We have all the usual things. There's a statue, and here comes the bus. Oops. Well, actually, that's the subway. We've got horses and birds.
And over here, we have a bunch of homeless people dying of crippling poverty. What? What? Excuse me? What was that? You'd rather me talk about the Empire State Building? Because I'm a little kid, and a little kid talking about an Empire State Building is more easily digestible for families' viewing pleasure? Yeah, I think I could do that. Sounds good. Okay, cool.
Oh, say, can you see? I can see from my bedroom window.
It's a fun little trivia fact for you guys here. Amongst the opening credits in this scene, you'll notice that the screenwriter and the director of this movie is a guy named Bob Clark. And Bob Clark is more famously known for another movie about a young kid and his family. A Christmas Story. What? Yeah, I know, like, how random is that? The guy who directed one of the most well-known holiday movies ever also directed the TV movie for the TV show. But that's not where the Christmas Story similarities end, because later on in the movie, one of the characters played by the guy who played Ralphie's dad in A Christmas Story, Darren McGavin. So that's kind of nice. Bob and Darren got to work on another movie together. And this one, instead of Darren erotically stroking a leg lamp, Bob instead made him use his own legs and run around a lot. You'll get that later. We're getting too far ahead of ourselves because we haven't even met the kid on the box. But oh, won't he come and everybody get out of the fucking way! So here we're introduced to Pete and his little brother Fudge in their family's New York City apartment. Fudge obviously being the annoying brother that doesn't know any better, and Pete being the one who has to deal with all of Fudge's bullshit.
Guess what, Pete? What? I'm getting married tomorrow. Getting married? Isn't this kind of sudden? No. Well, who's the lucky bride? Sheila Tubman! Sheila Tubman? What? You're marrying the queen of cooties? You bet.
Oh, there he goes. Another death on Fudge's hands. So in our introduction to Lil Fudge here, they play crazy music over him. And also, he says he wants to get married when he's just 4 years old. Damn. I've seen some people I went to school with get married way too early, but this is ridiculous. However, we can't gloss over this, because based off of Pete's reaction right here, where he fucking eats it, we have been introduced to the main antagonist, the most vile villain to walk the face of the earth, and also the annoying girl that I mentioned earlier that I couldn't even really remember if she existed or not. Sheila Tubman. Look at her, plotting her every move. She makes me sick, even though she's like 9. Also, damn, Fudge boy, you're going for those older women? I see you.
What did Sheila think about you getting married?
She was very happy.
Oh, how do you know that?
Because he loved to laugh to laugh.
So like I thought, Pete and Fudge's family are about to go on vacation for a couple of weeks, but Pete and Fudge's mom then tells Pete, much to his horror, that they are going to be staying next to Sheila Tubman and her family. Whoa, drama.
You're wondering what it'd be like to spend 2 weeks with Sheila Tubman? I'll tell you. Imagine walking over a bed of hot coals, then jumping into a pit of rats and snakes, then sliding down a razor banister into a tub of alcohol, then having Godzilla eat your liver while you burn out the snake, and then you start to get the idea.
Hey man, don't threaten me with a good time. When the family finally makes it to their vacation home, Pete locks eyes with his enemy, Sheila Tubman, but he plots the first move in the war against her.
It'd been 4 hours in the car since our last stop. Turtle really had to go. She'd never know it.
And it's to have his dog pee on her? I don't know. Jesus, this girl's screaming bloody murder. They're just like, just imagine your mom just died right in front of you. In fact, let's give you a visual. How does that make you feel? They're not even like, what was that? They're just like, it's fucking Sheila. We better check on her.
Are you okay? What happened? Fine! I'm fine. It's just that disgusting dog.
She's just like, I'm fine. Even though just a second ago it sounded like she fucking got shot.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Gee, thanks, Mom. We then get to meet Darren McGavin's actual character in the movie, Buzzy, who is Sheila Tubman's grandfather. And the first thing that Fudge does when he meets him is ask him,
Do you have cooties?
I've had a very thorough cootie examination, and I'm sorry, but I'm cootie clean.
You see, they stick a finger up your butt. So once the families get reacquainted with each other, Pete finds out something that he did not even think was possible.
Could you tell us where our house is, though?
This is your house.
I thought this was your house.
It's 2 houses, but they're connected.
What do you mean, connected?
Sheila, can you put your goddamn dog down? He is winding up a storm. He is very uncomfortable. Isn't that right, Cece? But that couldn't be you, could it?
It means attached. You know, joined together. Don't worry, there's an inside door that separates your house from ours.
A door? I promised Jimmy a forest.
I like how Pete is the one who's doing all the fake fainting in this movie. Like he's a fucking damsel in distress from an old movie. Just like, oh, my stars. Oh. Like his reaction to any minor inconvenience to his life is just to fucking eat it. Like he does it just so much, you guys. Just imagine some other situations that he might faint in. Peter, do you know the answer to question 12? No. What? They forgot my fries. Hey, Pete. Yeah, what's up, babe? So did you, bring protection? Uh-oh. Pete? So Fudge is still going on about how he's going to marry Sheila, but now Sheila's like cool with it?
We're never getting married if you act that way. Say you're sorry or the wedding's off.
What the fuck am I watching? Also, this scene is a good example of one of the biggest issues that I have with this movie.
The worst news of the century! The worst news of the century! Don't go to
Did you catch it? Well, if not, let me spell it out for you. These kids are fucking annoying. Like, sure, they act like kids. Kids are loud, but like, fuck, dude. Like, they're so good at acting as annoying kids that I think it isn't an act. I think they're just annoying kids. Like, watching this movie makes me feel like I'm babysitting again. I feel like I gotta yell out, hey, what are you doing over there? Put that down. Hey, everybody stop yelling. All right, let's use our inside voices. Quiet coyote. Hey, where are you two going? Get back here. I just want to tell these kids to shut the fuck up. Just let me have a moment of silence, please. Just go do some handstands or some shit. I don't even care anymore. So there's a small subplot in this part where we find out that Sheila's grandpa has the hots for Fudge and Pete's grandma, who's like a fitness nut. I mean, he sees her do a couple of cartwheels and he's just like, oh my god. My heart's beating so fast right now. Either I'm in love or I'm having a heart attack.
Well, you know what they say about old dogs.
They suffer from erectile dysfunction. So at this point, you may be thinking to yourself, hey, Alec, so we met the main characters. We met annoying little Sheila Tubman. We know that the grandma and grandpa are going to be doing handstands on top of each other. But, like, what's the plot? Like, are they just on vacation? And, well, in all honesty, I don't know. I'm right there with you guys. There's barely been any conflict in this movie. But, hey, look, I got something good for you. This next scene, right? So, Fudge's pet bird, Uncle Feather, goes missing. Oh, shit. That sounds like a conflict to me. Put it up on the board! So maybe it's a movie about a family trying to find their pet bird together, and in the end, it brings them all together. What was that? The bird's only gone for like 10 minutes of this movie, and most of those 10 minutes aren't focused on the bird. Instead, it's about introducing another subplot. Then why the fuck do we care about this bird? Fuck. Whatever. The bird doesn't matter. Look, what does matter is while looking for Uncle Feather out on the beach, which at that point he's fucking gone. He could fucking fly over water, you guys. Anyway, while looking, Pete and Fudge decide to check in with one random house they see on a cliff in hopes that the people living there have seen Uncle Feather. So they knock on this nice lady's house who is so quick to let them inside. She's just like, ooh, hello, young children. Come on in. I'm your mother now. And Fudge tells Pete that he's gonna do all the talking, which causes this poor lady to get all confused because Fudge is like, hey, have you seen my Uncle Feather?
Uncle who?
He doesn't even say like up front, like, oh yeah, by the way, Uncle Feather's a bird. Should probably mention that. It's pretty important.
I do hope that your Uncle Feather is not out sailing today.
I hope not either. He doesn't know how to sail. He's not even supposed to go outside.
That sounds very serious. Have you called the police?
Yeah, we have a humane society.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Uncle Feather's a fucking animal, but we keep him in the cage in order to keep him on his best behavior. The scene goes on for way too long, like 3 whole minutes of them just circling around this poor woman.
What does your uncle look like?
He's mostly flat with yellow nose and yellow feet.
I see.
It kind of made me think when watching this, like, geez, was this scene like the equivalent of 4 or 5 pages in the original book? Like, they must really want to be true to the original book and hammer in this Uncle Feather bit.
Actually, he's a bird.
Is he related to the birds that live down the road?
No, he is a bird.
The fuck is going on?
Uncle Feather is Fudge's pet minor bird.
We could have fucking opened with that. You dick! During the scene, they meet the woman's granddaughter, who's named Mitzi, and is also Fudge's age, and she tells them about her grandpa, who is like a famous baseball player named Big Apfel. Also, this is something you should probably know going forward. Pete's a big baseball fan, and when he finds out that she knows Big Apfel, he's going crazy. He's like, I know all his stats. I know his dick measurements. But okay, listen to this, guys. We got something good here. Big A, as they like to call him, hosts a fun community baseball game every Sunday. And they invite Pete and Fudge and his family to play in the game. So that must be like what the plot's about, right? Like Pete finds out about this game and that his idol is going to be there. So then he's going to try and work to get into this game. So that's got to be the plot, right? Right?
Nope.
This movie barely mentions baseball for like half of the movie. All that happens in this movie is a bunch of scenes that like barely connect together. And that's where we get to my second biggest issue with this movie. So what I think happened was, in trying to be true to the original book, every single scene of the movie is based off of like a chapter from the book. In those types of chapter books that were made for elementary school kids, they have the characters doing something different in every single chapter. And that's what this movie practically is. Every single scene in this movie sees the characters doing something different that barely add up together to make a coherent story. They're trying to find Uncle Feather in one scene, they're talking to Mitzi and her grandmother in another one. Pete tries to call his friend Jimmy in one scene, they're at the library in another. And like, that makes sense when it's in a kid's book, like having the main characters do different things each chapter. It keeps the kids' attention, makes them guessing what's gonna happen next. But when that's the whole ass movie, dude, where it's just scenes barely connecting between each other, like, that doesn't make for a cute kids movie. That just makes for a bad movie. Now, I know that there are some TV movies, especially the ones that serve as like the pilot for a TV show, that are more or less the first few episodes of the show, so that's why sometimes the stories don't really make sense. But with this, I don't think that's the case. I think we're just watching a bad movie, and we're not even halfway through it. Fuck. Moving on. So we find out that Mitzi has a book that she claims was written about her called Tell Me a Mitzi, even though that's an actual fucking book in real life. So Mitzi's a goddamn liar.
It's all about me and my baby brother, Jacob. You don't have a baby brother? I do so, and his name is Jacob.
Oh, well then, that's great, Mitzi. I mean, if you know that, then just let me know, where is he, Mitzi? Because I don't see him. Did you kill Jacob, Mitzi? But anyway, Fudge falls for it like an idiot. And that makes Fudge jealous, so he wants to go to the library in order to find a book called Tell Me a Fudge, because that's how little kids believe books work. So Pete and Fudge go to the library, and there we meet the librarian.
Do you have Tell Me a Fudge?
It doesn't sound familiar. Did you look it up in the computer?
No, I didn't.
Let's give it a try.
She seems nice. So we meet Isabel the librarian, and Pete, he's immediately down bad for her.
I felt like I was in a dream, and everything was happening in slow motion.
What's wrong, Pete?
Nothing. Why?
You look weird. Are you gonna puke?
Nah, he isn't gonna puke, Fudge. But he is gonna be doing something in the bathroom later. You know what I mean? Okay. So to help Pete out, his family lets him invite a friend over, his friend Jimmy. But unfortunately for Jimmy, Pete decided to keep it a secret that they actually live with Sheila, instead of there being a forest in between them.
This happens to be my house.
I thought this was your house. Our family lives up there, and her family lives up there. Did I say that? Brilliant, Peter.
But it looks like Jimmy's getting along just fine with Sheila. And right after we do a quick check-in with Buzzy to make sure he's still running around for Pete's grandma.
Oh, not bad, Fuzzy. 20 seconds off yesterday.
The kids head to the beach for some good-natured fun.
Good morning, honey.
I don't think this is cool to watch. Or make. Bob Clark, what the fuck? She's 9, he's 4. But then Fudge starts telling the others that Pete has a crush on Isabel, which makes Pete want to murder Fudge right then and there.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Which I fully endorse.
Mama, who's gonna kill me?
I think so.
But the damage is done, and Sheila and Jimmy start to make fun of Pete's little crush.
Sounds like that to me, too. I've seen Izzy. He's got black hair and a fat behind.
Jesus! What the fuck? Like, calm down, Sheila. My God. Keep it in your one-piece swimsuit. So Jimmy, P, and Sheila are gonna go to the library to meet Izzy. So they all get on their bikes and start riding over to the library. Oh, and here's the scene, guys. Here's the scene. The one scene that I remembered from the very beginning of this video. Remember? The scene about the fly?
What's wrong? Oh, fly. Fly? I was battling really fast and breathing really hard.
flew right into my mouth.
The reason why I remember this scene so specifically is because I think I remember it was such a big scene in the book. There was like pages all about him having swallowed this fly. And it's so weird. I remember the camera angle. I remember which way he was going. I just remember like kind of the exact framing of this scene. It's weird, the little minute details that stick in your mind throughout your life. And mine, I just remember this stupid scene from Fudge-a-Mania.
I think I'm gonna puke.
So throughout the movie, Sheila's grandpa has been getting lessons from Pete and Fudge's grandma on how to get more fit, and we find him competing in an obstacle course that the grandma set up, and at the end, the two of them have a big announcement for everybody.
Well, Buzzy and I... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I guess you can only put it into words like this. Take my heart, I love you.
We'll never part, I love you.
They're singing now. Have I gone that far off the deep end that I can't even understand what the hell they're saying anymore?
What are you trying to tell us, Mother?
What?
Well, I think it's quite obvious, Aunt, dear. Buzzy and I are in love. We're going to be married. Married?
What? You guys have known each other for like a week. I mean, I know some people that I went to school with that got married really quick, but this is ridiculous. I mean, they are old. So, like, what do they got to lose? Each other? Yes.
Grandpa, does this mean I'm going to be related to the Hatchers?
Related?
Uh-oh. I can feel it coming. There he goes. Alright, so after a bunch of scenes that didn't fucking matter, it's finally time for the big baseball game where Pete hopes to impress his idol, Big A. But some of the new rules they set in place makes Pete all heated because they aren't how you play baseball.
I'm gonna bat for both teams.
How can we bet for both sides?
Hey, don't be judgmental when a person bats for both teams, Pete. I'm just saying.
It's against the official rule.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Yeah, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You know, get your head cut off. I don't fucking know. What do the Romans do? So the two team captains end up being Isabel and Fudge. Then we have this exposition dump from Pete just to tell us, like, hey, I'm not on Isabel's team. I'm on Fudge's team. Like, you could have just shown that. We could have had, like, a little scene or something. Hello?
Isabel looked at me and smiled.
Yes.
I closed my eyes, and when I did, Isabel chose Tony Ickles.
Bro, fuck Tony Ickles. All my homies hate Tony Ickles. Okay, so the baseball game goes great. Pete makes the first out. Great. Everybody's starting to make hits. Great. Except for Pete. Pete is sucking major dick out there.
Before the game was over, everybody got a hit but me. Fudge got another hit. Jimmy got a double. Big hit went out. I struck out. Mitzi got a hit. Even Sandy got a hit. And she was blind. Yeah, even Turtle got a hit. Ha ha ha.
He's beating himself over. He's just like, Big A's watching. I'm letting him down. But all he needs is one moment to prove his worth as a ball player. So it's the final inning. Isabel's team is up by 2, and there's 2 outs, bases. There's some people on the bases. I don't remember how much. But Pete, he's up to bat, and he could win this for the team. He's the last one up. The entire game is on his shoulders. And what does he do? He gets a hit. It's a grounder to third. Everybody's cheering. He's going crazy, but he's not running. Like, come on, dude. Run, you idiot!
Then it happened.
But his grandma, she shows no mercy to her family. I ain't holding back, bitch. Big A's just like, come on, kid. He's so close. And he...
Oh, no!
He fucking whiffs it. Who saw that coming? I did.
My own grandmother had thrown me out at first base. Oh, no!
Damn, that sucks, bro. Get over it. Now let's move on. Pete's sulking about the loss in the attic.
Mighty Peter has been thrown out by his own grandmother.
But who comes to console him but none other than Big A himself?
Now, look, kid. Big A tells it straight. That's the way I live my life, and that's the reason I'm up here. To tell it to you straight. You're a ball player.
No, he's not. He sucked. This was his big shot, and he blew it.
But I didn't come through when the game was on the line.
Well, you gotta admit, the old broad made a fantastic catch.
I mean, you gotta admit, that old bro, she's fucking smoke show, bro.
But getting thrown out by your own grandmother,
Well, you don't want that spread around, that's for sure. Yeah, and I'll tell you one more thing, and then I'm going to go down and get some wedding cake.
I'll tell you one more thing, and then I gotta get the fuck out of here. Stay in school. Okay, cool.
Baseball is what?
Not for me. Bye. So after this talk with Big A, the marriage between Buzz and the grandma, I think her name's Muriel, goes on, and they get married. Feliz Navidad. So he was fucking sulking at his grandma's wedding. Like, what a little dick. You didn't play good in a baseball game. Who cares? Baseball is temporary. Marriage is forever. So the grandparents get married, and now the families are together forever. The end. However, it does end with a very dramatic moment between Sheila and Pete, where Sheila is trying to blackmail Pete into doing anything she says.
You refer to me as Ms. Tubman from now on?
And why would we do that?
Because if you don't, I'll tell everyone at school what I know.
What's that?
Your grandmother threw you out at first base.
And I got it all on tape.
Yo, this dude got caught in 4K. Well, more like 360p because it was like on a little dinky film camera.
See you in the city.
And that's Fudge-a-Mania. This movie fucking sucked. All the kid actors are annoying. The movie just doesn't make sense. And honestly, some of the adult actors are just really phoning it in. I'm just glad to be done with this. So why did I do this? I mean, obviously I hated this fucking movie. So why did I go through with making a whole entire video about it? Well, one, I wanted to feel like my $45 purchase was worth something. And also, I was just so bewildered by the fact that this movie was nowhere online. So then I just got the idea stuck in my head of, what if I find the movie and put it online for people to see? Like, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, in my entire channel, I try to talk about stuff that isn't talked about as much. What if I found a thing that literally nobody can talk about because it's nowhere online? That's why I wanted to do it, even though this movie is just so dumb. So with that idea in mind, I'm going to be uploading this full digitized movie online for free. It'll be the first link in the description. And I'll make sure that the movie stays up. Even if I have to go to fucking Daily Motion, it'll still be up. But yeah, maybe check out the whole entire movie for yourself and see the pain that I had to go through. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a like down below. As well, make sure to subscribe to my channel. That'd be really helpful, and I'd love you if you did. I make more of these types of videos where I talk about something from my childhood that I think is weird or interesting or just not talked about enough. Make sure to check me out on social media. Also check out my podcast, Screenplay the Improvised Movie, on YouTube or any podcast streaming service that you use. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to leave you with this fun little scene from Fudge-a-Mania that was the only one that actually made me laugh. Bye-bye.
Okay, spit it out.
Tell me a fudge. I Farley, Virgil Hatcher. 7-1. How Turtle got his name. Okay, that's it for today. Ooh.
Workaholic.